What's going on today, everybody? We're back in the garage doing some Redbird stuff. I got the LS1 in here. The last thing I did on this thing, I didn't do a video for it, but I did some suspension work on it. I got subframe connectors in there. I got lower control arms. I did a tubular transmission brace and a torque arm. So I also went with a torque arm relocation, so it's not on the tail shaft anymore, it's on the frame itself. So I put all that stuff in there. I didn't do a video because it was a big job and I didn't have anybody to film for me, so I just went ahead and did it. But today what I'm gonna do is my rear diff is leaking. So to fix that, putting a gasket in because it's making a mess all over my driveway, so I want to get that figured out. I'm gonna crawl under there, put a gasket on there. I'll show you guys the suspension and what I did and how it goes on there. It sure stiffened the ride up and everything, so that's cool. When you're driving it, it feels nice and tight. Those subframe connectors are good for a T-top car because, you know, when that roof is out, it'll flex. So I'll get the car jacked up here and I'll show you guys what I did, and we'll get this diff cover fixed and we'll get going. Alright guys, we got her up in the air. She's on jack stands. I don't have a lift, so I don't have fancy stuff like that. But it gives you a good chance to see some of the parts I put on. You can see my subframe connectors right there. They go all the way to the front. I'll show you how those went on. My torque arm is in there somewhere. I got lower control arms, relocation brackets. So yeah, everything's pretty cool. I have to address this situation here. So get on my handy dandy creeper. There, that's the culprit there. So it looks like it's leaking from the bottom. Might have even a couple dents in there. I don't know if that's from lifting. That could be. But this has to come off, and then we'll throw that new gasket in there. I think I'll use some RTV. Clean this up some, and then we'll refill it with oil. So here's my Bmr Tubular Torque Arm. Went on there fairly good. I had to do a little bit of trimming on the pumpkin itself. Not trimming, but just massaging, and then that bracket went on there. There's the lower control arm relocation brackets. This is a must if you have a lowered car, because it puts your lower control arms at the proper angle. I don't know if I have mine set right. It's either this hole or this hole. I have them in the bottom hole right now, but we'll see how it launches and stuff when it comes time. And there's this side too. Looks good. Control arms went on there good. So yeah, not much to see back here. See, I got my exhaust nice, tucked up nice and everything. I got another O2 bung welded in for when I get it tuned, because it hasn't been tuned yet. And in the meantime, I put just an old O2 sensor in there because I didn't have a plug. So here's my Bmr Tubular transmission mount, transmission brace. And you can see it's got the flange for the torque arm. So it takes the torque arm off of the transmission tail shaft and then goes right onto the bracket itself. Therefore, if you're hammering on it, getting a good launch, you're not going to break a tail shaft like some guys do. So that's rectified. That went in there really easy. It was all good. I did wreck one of the bolts, so I had to do my own bolt. So just bolts right up, factory position, and everything runs real nice. Subframe connectors are just bolt in. They bolt right on the top here, and they have a nice little bracket that slides in right up here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it slides up there. You put the bracket in. Oh yeah, right here I can feel it. So you put the bracket in, and then you can bolt the top to the bottom, clamps together, and she runs all the way down to the back control arm mount. So with that, it makes it stronger. Car should be more rigid. Should like to launch a little more. Like I said, this is important for things like T-top cars and convertibles and stuff like that. Hard tops too if you're putting out a lot of horsepower, but really important for the guys that got no roof. So yeah, it looks good. Strange, can't see what I'm aiming at here. Here we go. Strange adjustable shocks, to which I have to adjust yet, but they feel good so far. Everything seems cool that way. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about that, if you're doing it yourself, it was pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Everything was bolt in, so shouldn't be very hard. But anyway, let's get on to that diff. Alrighty. Okay, we got our handy dandy tray here. Clean this up some. Some brake cleaner. Okay. See if we can't clean this up some. Nice. What size are you? Who wants to bet it's a 13? Oh, buddy, am I good? It's either a 13 or a 10. Everything on this car. That's kind of how she goes. Hey, look at that. That's kind of how she goes. Okay, I'm gonna need a flat wrench for half of these. Oh, that was like borderline loose. No wonder. No wonder it's leaking. It wasn't even tight, boys. I just discovered this one that came out of the bracket one is a little bit longer, so keep that in mind, people. Like this one here, that's longer. Okay, let that dangle. We'll get all the other ones figured out here. Okay, so I'm stupid, and I was like, why am I having such a hard time getting these top bolts? Well, the way I did it is I had my jacks under here, and I'm like, well, why don't I just let the rear end dangle? Ta-da! Now I can get the gun on everything. So, yeah, I'm dumb. Don't be me. You know, do it the right way. So I got it set up there. Everything's sturdy. Everything's cool. So I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. Get that under there. Oh yeah, this is much better. What a silly boy I am. I'm gonna get made fun of big time for that one. It's out. Okay. Take this little shield off there for the brake line. Now this bad boy's ready to come off. However, I discovered it's been RTV'd once already, so it's gonna be a pain. There she blows. We got her. We got the tiny 7.5 inch ring gear going on. Not much fuzzies in there. That's good. This will get cleaned up. Cool. So, got her open. Everything looks pretty good. Looks nice and clean. Looks like she's in good shape. Nothing chipped or nothing. No marring. Pinion looks good. Alright, let's get her cleaned up. Scrape the old gasket off there. Just gonna use a sharp razor. Get her off. Alright, everybody. Got the cover off, got her all cleaned up. Got all that nasty RTV off there. There was quite a bit on there. So somebody's done this before, but it didn't really work all that well. So I got her all cleaned up and got the bottom cleaned up, and I'm gonna RTV the cover, put the gasket on, and then put a little bit of RTV on the inside, and then let it dry for a bit, and then tighten it way up. So let's get to her. We're gonna smooth it out with our finger after, so it's not a big deal if you make a mess. Put a little bit more on the bottom, just because it's gonna be taking the brunt of it. Okay, let's go grab the cover and slap the cover on and it's in. All right, my friends, we've got the cover on. She's all finger tight up, and what I did was I put it finger tight, let it sit for about a half hour, let that RTV set up a little bit, and now I'm going to tighten them. Now they say you're supposed to tighten them to 22 foot-pounds, but I don't have a wrench that goes that low. So I'm going to use the best measurement of foot-pounds in the world, my arms. A couple Ooga Chugas should do it. Okay, we're going to let that set up for a little while longer, and then we're going to put some oil in it. In the meantime, you'll notice that I have my hood all taped off. And why is that, you ask? Well, it's because this has a WS6 hood on it, and it's not a WS6 car, which is fine. I like the WS6, but you could get a Formula WS6 in the day, but this wasn't one. Anyway, this has an aftermarket hood on it that I bought like this, and the snorkels aren't real. It's not a real Ram Air hood, which is fine, I don't give a shit. But it looks stupid without the grills in there, right? So what I'm going to do is I purchased me a set of grills that go in on the other side, like so, to make it much better. And it's all well and good, I could just screw them in there and everything would be cool, but it is red back there, and if the light catches it a certain way, it's red through the grill and it looks stupid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bomb this black, and then I'm going to put the grills in and screw them in. I'll drill little holes and screw them in, and everything will be cool. So that's the plan anyway. Okay, I got the first coat on there. Turned out pretty good. No runs. I'm just using basic black rust paint. It's not going to matter. This car is going to get painted eventually, so I'm not super concerned about it, but I want to get those grills in there because it looks janky as all fuck. So I want to get that on there and it'll look better. Yeah, so that's drying, and then we got the rear end cover drying. So there's nothing left for me to do but sit here. I'm just gonna sit and watch. It's like watching paint dry, except you got a sweet Firebird. So we got her all painted up there. Turned out okay, I think. Just the insides here, like that way you won't see any red through the grills when they go in. So I'm going to let this dry for a little more, and I'm going to drill 2 small little holes in there, put my grills in, and get some screws going, and boom, that's done. Let's go put oil on this rear end. And we're going to put, about 2 quarts or something like that in there. Drink. Alright guys, so the 7590 is in the car. That's all cool, no leaks yet. Gonna let it sit for a little longer. Boom. So now I'm gonna try to put these grills in, like so. Ooh, that's gonna be good. Nice and black. I just had some silver screws for now. So I painted them black. And if they get crappy, then I'll just put black ones in. Not a big deal. No big deal, boys. In you go. Cool. So that's that. I don't want to get those in there for so long now. I've had those for literally ever. There we have it. The finished product. Got them in there. Now it looks like an actual WS6 hood. Perfecto. Good enough anyway. Good enough till I paint the whole car. That looks much, much better. Because this hood needs paint anyway. Because you can see the chips and everything. It's had a good going over. Look at that. Much better. All right. That'll do her. That'll do it for today, guys. Got the diff oil in. Hopefully it won't leak anymore. Did the snorkels. Showed you guys the suspension. That's pretty much all I got for now. So I still got to get that tune put into it. It's just still in the base tune. I'm going to show you guys a video once it's all tuned up and everything. The power difference once it's all dialed in, because right now it's good right now, but there's a lot on the table yet. So once that happens, I'll make a video on that, and then it's on to the next step. I don't know what the next step's gonna be. Maybe I still think I want to run some nitrous through it, maybe 100 shots or something like that, but the track's closed still, so we'll see if that opens up with COVID. But I'm gonna start working on the Cummins, the red Cummins that I showed you guys before that nobody watched because I'm not cool. But I'm going to start working on that. I want to do some body work on it. I got a good plan for it. I think I'm going to go with a kind of a pre-runner style ram or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Lots of fun stuff. So make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you next time.